Elaine Terranova was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1939. She lived in a working-class neighborhood and she went to Temple University. In 1961, received a bachelor's degree in English, and in 1977 received an MFA from Vermont's Goddard College. Elaine did most of her writing on the train because that is where she was most comfortable and relaxed. It is also the setting of her poem Rush Hour. She would watch people, and that is most likely where she got the idea for the story from. She also has some experience with creative writing, so it is possible she made it all up in her head. In her poem Rush Hour, a mother and two of her children are on a train. The children have obvious signs of domestic abuse, and whenever somebody asks about them, the mother simply makes up an excuse. This is typical because the mother is protecting the abuser instead of protecting her own children. The speaker is a silent train commuter observing the family. They never have any interaction with each other, but the speaker, as well as the other commuters and the conductor, can tell that this family suffers from domestic abuse. The signs are obvious. Even though when asked about it, the mother makes up excuses. Elaine uses words like scabbed and roses of blood to describe the baby's face. The baby has obviously been through some trauma, and when the conductor asks the mother what happened, the mother is quick to say that a neighbor's dog had bit him, but it was an accident and the dog didn't mean to do it. The little girl is described to have a cast on her arm, but wearing a party dress. She sits next to her mother, but has no interest in her mother touching her or her touching her mother. This is very strange for young children because most of them are very attached to their mothers, and when they're in public, don't want to be too far from them. The mother is described as having shorts on and dark sunglasses. It is said that her body sags and tenses at the same time, which shows that she has some relief but still has her guard up. In the end of the poem, it is said that nobody knows what is under her dark sunglasses. The little girl is in a cast, but also a party dress. The mother is in shorts, but also dark sunglasses. It seems that the family is trying to hide something that is not supposed to be happening at home. The mother quickly makes excuses for every question that people ask her. The little girl just stares out the window the whole time while her brother is pulling her hair. She only reacts when it really starts to bother her, which is weird for little kids. They usually get agitated easily at things. When the person asks what happened to her arm, she just stares at the window, which is odd because most kids want to tell you everything that happens to them. The irony of the poem is that the mother is trying to protect the abuser by making up excuses instead of protecting her own children. This is a perfect opportunity for her to get help from all these people asking questions, but instead she just quickly makes up an excuse and doesn't say anything. This poem is a huge understatement. It casually describes injuries on children caused by domestic abuse as if they were a birthmark or clothes or something. The mother won't even take help when it is offered when people ask what happened to her kids. She just makes up excuses and goes on with her day. The author talks so casually about the injuries because in today's society, people that are abused don't seek help. They sometimes feel like they deserve the abuse, and that if they seek help, the abuse will get even worse. Most people don't even realize that the abuse is happening and don't try to help. A mother is supposed to love her children more than she loves herself. She is supposed to protect her children and put them in front of everything else. But the irony is that this mother is protecting the abuser and allowing the abuser to keep hurting her children and herself. These children have probably been suffering from abuse their whole lives. They don't know any better, and they probably think it's the way all kids live their lives. It should be the mother's job to protect her children and to not let anyone harm them. These children aren't going to know any better to tell someone or get themselves help or protection. The point the author is trying to get across is that when someone is abused, they are going to do the best way they can to hide it. whether it's wearing dark sunglasses or making up stories for injuries. Even a mother is going to try and protect her abuser, even if the abuser is hurting her children. They're not going to come out and ask for help as fears the abuse will get worse. Even though the author never directly comes out and says that the children and the mother are suffering from abuse, the signs are there. Things are not always as they seem. A broken arm on a child is not always because they fell out of a tree. Scratches on a baby aren't because they got bit by a dog. Sometimes there are underlying causes. A train ride taken by a mother and her children is described in great detail. When we get to the end of the poem, we notice that the train ride isn't so simple. People start to notice things that mother doesn't want them to notice, and she quickly makes excuses. This poem was written in blank verse form. It has no set number of lines and no rhyme scheme. It resembles normal speech, but still has poetic identity. It is the most common unclosed form of poem in English, and most of the lines are different lengths. To sum it up, this poem shows the damaging effects of domestic abuse. The mother holds her children tight to her as if she's protecting them from the help instead of the abuser. The children are showing obvious signs of abuse, and some of the people are picking it up, even though the mother is doing her best to hide it and make up excuses.